Hey guys, and welcome back to another Access Institute video. And in today's video I'm back with another interview. I'm here with Faraqat Ali. How are we?
Oh, yeah, brother, you're good. I'm
I-
wicked, thank you.
I'm great, thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the channel.
No, appreciate yourself.
Okay, and so am I right in saying you're a 27-year-old super featherweight who's 5-0?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
super feather between feather and super featherweight.
Great. Okay, well, if you're on around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, the question which I always like to start off with: why did you start boxing?
Uh, to be honest with you, the first time I went to a boxing gym when I was about 8 year old,
hmm
and then ever since then, really, just addicted to it from that point onwards.
That's great. And so, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
Yeah, to be fair with you, I remember I had my first amateur fight roughly around about 16-year-old.
hmm
Yeah, I was in gym for quite a few years, had my first amateur, and to be honest with you, I actually lost my first amateur fight.
Wow.
I
Right.
remember I lost my first amateur fight. I boxed in Hull.
hmm
I boxed in Hull. The other kid he was having his first amateur as well. I lost that. It was a majority. I lost it on a majority, and I remember I went back home and I started crying. I
Wow.
started crying and I said, I don't want to feel this feeling
Mm,
again. And that was just at 16, really.
mm,
And I remember I went into gym next day. The trainer said to me, "Oh, Frank, why are you back in gym?"
yeah.
And I go, "Look, I couldn't get to sleep last night. I've been crying all night. Like,
Mm,
I've lost. I can't believe it."
mm,
And then I had another fight a few weeks later, my second amateur fight, and I stopped the kid in the second round.
mm,
So it's just a learning curve. Amateurs is about learning and
mm,
just progressing, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It shows that even from a young age, you still had the passion for the sport, and of course you have the drive to go and succeed. Even though you didn't on the first one, you went and made up for that in the second one.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I'll be honest with you, when I got home, everybody were like, "Oh look, you've done yourself proud."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not everyone can get inside that ring. Plus, you've trained for it, and I go, "Look, it's not good enough. I lost."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I trained too hard. Like I should have won, but
Mm,
then obviously stuck at it. Kept plodding along. In my second fight, I stopped the kid in the second round. So it's just it's all learning, isn't it? It's all learning.
definitely. And so throughout your amateur time, did what was your biggest achievement?
If I'll be honest with you, I roughly had around, off the top of my head, I think about 27, 28 amateurs.
hmm
I had a 50-50 record, but what happened was from the age of, I think, 18,
hmm
I had a few personal issues going up at home. So
Right.
I was on and off with my amateurs.
hmm
So I'd be in gym sometimes, I wouldn't be in gym. I'd come in when there was a fight, and it
hmm
was just, it was hard to manage boxing at
Yeah.
that point. So with my amateurs, I couldn't really give it my all when it got to a certain point.
hmm
Uh, so yeah,
That's fair enough. And so, what was kind of the choosing factor to go professional when you did?
if I'll be honest with you, I always wanted to go professional. Like from being a young kid, I remember the first fight I watched was
hmm
when Mike Tyson was boxing when he boxed Lennox Lewis.
hmm
That was the first fight I watched, and I was just watching it. I thought, look, I want to do that one day. So obviously, I got into the amateurs, and then obviously pros. When I got to around about 24-year-old, I thought to myself, look, Frank, you've got a full-time job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what you're doing with your life. Like, let's kind of bring the love back to for boxing.
hmm
So then it was just from there. I sat down with my manager, and I said to him, "Oh, listen, I want to step into the pro ring." And then just with coronavirus, it held me back a bit. I was out for 2 years, and then at 26, I made my debut.
hmm Fair enough. And so, congratulations on the win last Friday. And
No, thank you.
and so, which fight out of the five professional ones you've had so far would you say you've performed your best in?
But I'll be honest with you, if I were to like kind of sum it up, I'd say it was my second fight.
hmm
My second one, I boxed out in Dubai.
hmm
That was probably my best performance I put out there.
hmm
Maybe because I didn't have pressure on me, nobody knew how I
hmm
was out there. I just had to go there and just box. And I
Yeah.
think when I went out to Dubai, that was the most relaxed I've ever been.
hmm
Uh, so yeah, I'd say my second pro fight. Yeah.
And so, would you say that, especially you are very early on in your career, would you say the best of your abilities still get to come?
Oh, 100%. Like already, I've had 5 fights, and
hmm
I've learned so much about myself and learned so much about professional boxing as a whole.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I was out of the ring for I'd say 4 or 5 years before I had my first pro fight. So there was, for my first fight, there was a bit of ring rust. Second fight, third fight. Then after my third fight, I switched trainers. Now with this new trainer who I'm with, Keith Palmer at Sheffield Lane Top, it's more about thinking what I'm doing, placing my shots, and not just going out there, just plodding forward and taking shots and giving shots. So now from this point onwards, there is going to be progression, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to seeing how well I can progress. And already in 2 fights, all the feedback I get is like, you've progressed so much from your first pro fight to now, and it's all down to my new trainer, Keith Palmer.
That's great. Yes, trainers are probably one of the most important things for a fighter, of course, and it's good to see you've got a good trainer with you.
Yeah, he's excellent. Like a lot of top pros in Sheffield actually used to be with Keith Palmer. Plus, in the amateur scenes, I remember when I used to be an amateur, about 8, 9 years ago. Literally every gym, what you'd hear are lads from Sheffield Lane Top Boxing. Like people would have fear from that trainer and from that gym because of the work rate. What he puts into his fighters, like his fighters were one of the most avoided fighters in Sheffield. So not just in Sheffield, probably all around England. Sheffield Lane Top was like a big gym what people would avoid and not too much the kid with.
Definitely. And so for this last professional fight you did have, you were live on GBM Sports or with GBM Sports. What is it like working with them?
Okay, so GBM. Okay, so when I turned pro, the first person I sat with was Izzy Asif from GBM Sports, and at the time it was a bit surreal from what he was saying to me, because he was at his office. He was saying to me, "Oh, look, Frack, I'm gonna make my shows like this. Like people in England aren't going to be competing with it." So I looked at him. I thought, this guy's nuts. Like, you know what I mean? Is he delusional? What is it like? But then there was something what were attracting me to it. So I thought, look, there's some sort of method behind his madness. So that's what drew me to him. So I thought, you know what? Let's give him a shot. Let's see what he can do. And everyone's seen it in England. The feedback what he gets, it's just unbelievable. Like the shows he puts on, it's like he competes to like a matchroom show, a Sky show. You know what I mean? Plus, don't forget, I boxed in Dubai. To say that standard what I boxed in Dubai, Izzy of GBM, his shows aren't much more like they're on par with even them type of shows abroad. So you can't fault it. Honestly, you can't fault GBM.
Definitely, that's great, and it's good to see like somebody who has maybe the seen as lower level fighters in, and yet he can still have them on the big live shows and have them being able to watch by everybody, and it's good to also see that it's free to air as well.
Yeah, obviously he does do a free stream. It's good because at the end of the day, us fighters, obviously if you're not on a TV show, if you're not got a big massive promotional company behind you, it's like we're working in silence kind of thing, and we're looking for that breakout fight. But obviously with the live stream and Boxing King Media, they get a lot of views, you know what I mean? They've got 220 plus Instagram followers, their YouTube page is up and booming. So to get some sort of eyes on us, it's grateful to us, you know what I mean? And we want to shine. There does be pressure on us because end of the day, a lot of people are watching us, but we deserve that opportunity to be streamed so people can watch us, and we don't just go under the radar, that we are looking for them big opportunities.
Definitely. And so you've been pretty active so far since turning professional, and so do you have a possible date of when you're going to be back fighting?
Hopefully I'm boxing December 16th in Birmingham. Fingers crossed anyway. That's what I've been told. So if not December, I will be back on a GBM card again in February, which I believe will be in Magna, Sheffield Magna,
Great, okay. And so
I'm looking forward to that,
yes, and so as for anybody who might not have seen your fights, what would you say makes you interesting as a fighter?
To be honest with you, when I first had my first pro fight, my style was literally coming forward and just throwing shots like a madman, really. But now it's more. I've been slowing my pace down a bit, picking my shots, thinking about what I'm doing as well, because I do have a good boxing brain. It's just a matter of just picking the right shots at the right time now. So yeah, I would like to say my style is quite entertaining, because end of the day, if I get hit, I do like to give a shot back. I'm not one of them fighters who just like to tuck up. I do want to give some back as well. So I do think I'm very technical, but I believe when the levels get upped and I get tested, that's when people are going to see the best me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. And
Mm-hmm.
I got a good feeling that a lot of people are going to be trying to avoid me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I do place my shots right and I get the right timing, I think people are going to be like, he is a handful.
Yeah, yeah. And is there any fighters at the moment which you might look up to stylistically, or even just ability, or just for ability wise?
To be honest with you, when I was a bit younger, I used to watch boxing like all the time. But
Mm.
now, if I'll be honest, since I've turned pro, I don't really look at fighters or look up to
Mm.
fighters anymore. It's just more the fact I look at fights and I look what they do good, what they do wrong, and I think, oh, how can I do their goods or what they're doing bad? How can I avoid them in my style?
Mm-hmm.
So from every fighter, whether it be an amateur fighter, a young kid from the gym, someone on TV, I'll always look at what they're doing good and always look at what they're doing bad. And the good stuff, even if they're younger than me, even if they're kids, I say, oh, how can I implement that sort of stuff into my style?
Mm.
So that's a good thing about boxing because you're always learning.
Yeah.
Like even me, I'm learning off little kids. I just look
Yeah.
at the little things they're doing. It's like, oh, bloody hell, that's good. That so
Mm.
it's just picking up things from everyone.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, that's good. And it seems like you have to, of course, have the mindset to not think you're better than anybody just because you're older or have more experience, and you've got to be willing to work with people with all abilities to be able to learn.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's with anything in life. Like you know what I mean. Like
Mm.
I'm 27 now. Say university students, they're 22, 23, 21. They graduate.
Mm.
You know what I mean. Academically, they're a lot better than me.
Yeah.
So if I'm one of their pupils, I'm learning off them, even though
Yeah.
I'm older. But
Mm.
you know what I mean. The skill sets and stuff what they've got is something I've not got.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing for boxing. Even if someone's younger than you, they're doing the same sort of stuff you're doing. So why
Mm-hmm.
not, if you can, get some good pointers off them? You know what I mean? It's always learning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Definitely.
it's good.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so, like I've said a few times, you are right at the beginning of your career, and I mean, you've been very active, so this question might not be kind of too far away, but how far do you believe you can go?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't have turned pro if I didn't think I could win a title.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm 27 end of the day, so boxing. How many years have I actually really got in boxing?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2, 3 years, 4 years push. So obviously, if I didn't think I was going to win a title, there's no point me doing it.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I do think the Central Area title I can win, an English title I know I can win, and then it's from the British level onwards. As long as I get to that English title level, I'm happy, I'm content.
Mm-hmm.
Anything above that, it is a bonus for me. Like I can sit here and say, oh look, I wish to become a European champion, British champion, world champion. We all have dreams, we all have ambitions, but end of the day, you need to be realistic to yourself. I need to take my life into consideration, what I'm doing, my age, and be realistic and be like, look, how far can you get?
Mm.
So me, I'm not going to sit here and say, look, I am going to become a world champion. I'd love to become a world champion one day with a bit of luck on my side. You know what I mean? Maybe I will be able to, but being realistically and considering my age, as long as I get to an English title level, I'm happy, content. Anything above that, it's a bonus for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that English title, you know what I mean, that's where I'm roughly looking at, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, and it's I always see it's good to have a goal in mind, especially at the lower levels, to keep you motivated and keep you interested in the sport. And so, what in general, or is that the main kind of thing that keeps you motivated?
If I'll be honest, the main thing what keeps me motivated is, like, I don't want to cut myself short.
Mm.
Like, when I stopped, well, to be fair with you, when I was roughly about 19 and I was on and off in the gym, everybody always used to say to me, Frack, he's a waste of talent.
Mm.
He's a waste of, not the fact that I used to come into the gym and doss about, it was just the fact I couldn't give my all into the gym because of the stuff what was going outside.
Yeah.
And people used to say, look, he's a waste of talent, he needs to get on it. And that's the only thing what kept eating me away, because there were good kids coming through and I'd spar them and I'd comfortably beat them. But obviously with my circumstances, I couldn't really hit my full potential at that point. So like the last few years before I turned pro, I remember I used to be asleep And the same words used to come into my head, like, he's a waste of talent, he's a waste. And I used to wake up and I used to remember that thinking, bloody hell, like, I need to give it one more shot. So I'm giving it that shot now. And the motivation is, like, proving myself wrong, and not just myself, proving everybody else wrong who said to me, look, Frack's not good enough. He's never going to get nowhere. He's not going to do anything. Like, I don't need to prove myself to them, but I need to prove to myself, look, whatever I set out to achieve, I've accomplished it. And it's simple as that. As long as I don't, even if I weren't to get to that level, but as long as I know I've done everything in my capability and there's been no distractions, you know what I mean? I can live happily. But as the motivation is getting to them titles, and I do believe I will do it. Honestly, I do.
Definitely. And with that mindset, I'm sure you will, and I'm sure it won't be too far away now, mate.
If I be completely honest with you, I've had 5 pro fights now. Yeah, I've already had some title fights already given to me for next year. But obviously boxing's about timing. I've got to be realistic. There's a reason why these kids are calling me out to box for titles. I know why that is, because I would have had 5-6 fights by next year. They've probably had about 12-13 fights. But obviously they need like a winning record on their record, so they're thinking, oh look, let's catch Frack early, who's a bit inexperienced compared to us, and we can build from there. But obviously with the team I've got, we've already broke it down. We know what people are going to be trying to do, and people are going to be trying to fast track the way, like, towards me. But obviously I don't want to rush myself. I will get there at the right time. But yeah, the opportunities and title fights have already come in my way, but it's all about timing.
Definitely. Yes, that is very smart as well. I've seen quite a few fighters that have just rushed into it and then have gotten a loss on their record and had to rebuild again, and it's a lot tougher to rebuild.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I could probably rush into a title fight early next year, February time. I could probably get a title, but why rush into it? Why cut myself short? End of the day, these kids have probably had more ring experience than me. They've been very professional longer than me. So why am I going to cut myself short and just think, oh, look, I'll fight him now, opportunity will come. End of the day, them kids are calling me out now for a reason. I know where that is, because, and they're seeing me, oh, look, he's a bit inexperienced. If we give him more time, he's going to be harder to beat. Where if they were to fight me now, being realistic, these lads, they probably would beat me now just because the fact they've had more ring experience than me. But give it 7-8 months time, I'll happily take anyone for a title, because I know I'll have that experience by then.
Definitely. Great. Okay, and so I will leave it with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Yeah, just my socials, really. Follow me on Instagram. It is frack.ali. So yeah, catch me on there.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you very much for doing this interview, mate.
No, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it, mate.
And maybe a little bit further along down the line, when you're fighting for titles, we can come back and have you on the channel.
Oh yeah, 100%, bro. Anytime. Always here for you. Always here for you.
Great. Okay. Well, if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do, like the video, and thanks for watching.